Hi there. In this sector, let's study about incomplete dominance. According to Mendelism, a pair of genes at identical locus of homologous chromosomes are necessary for expression of a character. Here today we come to learn that such interaction is, that is gene interaction, is of two types. Allelic interactions. So gene interactions are of two types, allelic interactions as well as non-allelic interaction, of which allelic interaction let us study today. Observe here, allelic interaction is an interaction between two genes which are located at the same locus of homologous chromosomes. Let us now understand it with an example. So we have capital T and capital T positioned on the same loci of the homologous chromosomes. Let us study it with incomplete dominance. According to Mendelism, we know that a heterozygous condition, only the dominant allele expresses itself. In case of the example where we had capital T and small t, the plant was tall. But here is a condition which varies from that Mendelism. To consider that, in case of the plants, Mirabilis jalapa as well as Antirrhinum majus, a pure red variety of the flower producing plant which is known to have dominant allele, let's represent it as R, capital R, is crossed to a pure white producing plant, let's represent it as the allele as small r, recessive R. In the F1 generation, all the flowers which were obtained were pink in color, wherein this pink color was nothing but a blending of the red as well as the white color. Further, when F1 individuals were selfed, F2 generation was obtained where a ratio of 1:2:1 is obtained between red flower, pink flower as well as white flower. That was the F2 generation. Such an inheritance where there is a blending of the characters is called as blended inheritance. So that is seen in case of Mirabilis jalapa as well as Antirrhinum majus. One more example is seen in case of the flower feather color in Andalusian fowls. When black fur possessing fowl was crossed with white fur possessing fowl, it produced F1 individuals, all of them blue in color. But then when selfing was done at the F1 generation, again a ratio of black, blue and white in the ratio of 1:2:1 was obtained. So that also is a blended inheritance. The blue color is obtained because of the blending between the black as well as the white color. With that, let's handle a problem. A useful process for determining whether an individual is homozygous or heterozygous is crossbreeding. What's crossbreeding? It's a breeding in order to obtain a hybrid. Self-fertilization, it is selfing between two similar individuals. Backcross, a condition where F1 individual is crossed with either of the parent. And test cross, F1 individual crossed with homozygous recessive parent. In our previous sectors, we have studied test cross. It's a cross between F1 and homozygous recessive parent, and the purpose a test cross is done is to identify the homozygous or heterozygous condition of an unknown individual. So the answer here is test cross. In a certain plant, red colored flower controlled by dominant allele R is dominant over white colored flower controlled by recessive allele small r. When heterozygous capital R small r plant is crossed, 24 offsprings are obtained. The number of white offsprings here are. So here, this is a condition of incomplete dominance, and we know we got a ratio of 1:2:1 of red, pink and white. So here it's already mentioned we have 64 offsprings. So there, in our example that we handled regarding Mirabilis jalapa, out of 4 individuals, 1 individual was white. So out of 64, how many? So that makes it 16. That is 64 divided by 4, that is 16. As we move on to the next, If 120 plants are produced on crossing pure red and white flowered pea plants, then the ratio of the offsprings will be. So 120 individuals are obtained here. Here we are crossing pure red with pure white. So which gives F1 generation. So in this F1 generation all are red. Now we need to mark here that the plant used here is pea plant 1. Secondly, nowhere it is mentioned about incomplete dominance. So this is rightly Mendelian inheritance. So incomplete dominance, here it's Mendelian inheritance. So we have all red flowers. Again, in squirrels, the gene for grey fur controlled by dominant G is dominant over the gene for black fur controlled by recessive allele small g. If 50% of the larger litter of squirrels are grey, the parental cross that produced this litter was most likely. Let's consider this is the answer which has been given. Let's consider it in this manner. If 50% of the larger litter of squirrels are grey, then this is the offsprings that we are getting with this combination. Then, if that is a combination, then where did the alleles come from? The capital G should come from one of the parent and small g should come from the other parent. And in the second offspring, the small g should come from one of the parent and the other small g should come from the other parent. So then, what is the combination of the parents? So parent, one of the parents should be containing heterozygous condition, that is capital G and small g, because of which they can produce these two types of gametes, and the other parent should be small g and small g, producing all the gametes in this particular manner. So that tells the answer, that is the parental individual's parents should have the following combination. One is heterozygous and the other parent is homozygous recessive. With that, we get back to you in our next concept.